on this day of Friday.
That was nothing but fire!
Welcome to Toxic Broadcast. It's Chris and Sarah and Chris, and
Sarah and Chris, that's it.
we do the things of the stuff.
Yep. And it's Friday the 13th.
It is Friday
And
the
we
13th
decided we're
for
going to
us.
do a podcast.
It's probably not Friday the 13th for you.
It might not.
But
By
it was
the time
for us.
they listen to this, it won't be. But it was recorded on Friday the 13th. Fuck off, cat. Dokloros.
Tokolosh, what doing?
Dokloros.
Anyway, we decided today that we would cover some mind control.
Very, very broad topic.
Yes.
Broad means big, right?
Yeah.
Not like narrow. It's not a narrow topic. It's a broad
There's
Broad.
broad
topic. Mind control, yes.
So Sarah found this article on a website called beforeitsnews.com. We'll put a link in the description, blah, blah,
When
blah.
was this written?
This was written on the 5th
This is typed on May 3rd, 2014.
of May of 2014.
How did you see the 15th? It's May 3rd, 2014.
Because
May 15th.
I'm retarded and I was looking at the URL,
Oh, I understand now.
and it says 2014/05/15.
Retardation. Yes.
The retardation is strong with this one, yes.
It's
So, yeah,
interesting. So
we're gonna try and figure out if we,
are under some sort of mind control.
yeah,
That's interesting.
are we being mind controlled? Are you
Well,
being mind controlled?
Mind control is like intense because there's so many different forms of
there's
mind
so
control
much.
that you might not even believe you're being mind controlled. Like most people think that the media is mind controlling people, which may not be true. They do use certain techniques for sure, which we'll probably discuss.
Oh, there's
tonight
definitely
as
a lot of that. We'll see where we go.
But yeah, like
First,
basically
we're
this
just-
article, we're going to focus on that.
Yeah, we're gonna go over the 15 symptoms of mind control,
Yes.
and are we being mind?
Have we experienced these things? Have you experienced these things? Who knows?
Who's controlling who?
Yes. All right. Do
So-
you want to start?
The very first symptom is high-pitched ringing, a faint yet audible ringing in the ears, or a low-pitched hum that just won't go away. Now,
No.
I mean, I myself, I listen to a lot of loud music.
Yes.
I like my techno beats. I have a set of high-powered headphones, and I blast music into my ears at full volume
Daily
all
basis.
the time.
Yeah.
So I do hear ringing, like occasionally, and you know, it's just, every now and then, just this little brrrr, and then be in my ear.
Okay. So do you ever like not listen to loud music for like a good amount of time? So like we'll say like 3 to 5 days plus.
Well, sometimes I'll go a week without throwing my headphones on and fucking blasting some
Do you ever
music.
hear the high pitched ringing ever? Pardon me.
Well,
Fuck
occasionally.
off,
What the
cat.
hell is that
He's just
cat
being
doing?
a fucking nuisance. I was gonna use another word, but nuisance is a good word.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like high pitched ringing. Do you ever hear it like not when you when you don't listen to music like loud, because that's like kind of the only thing that you experience can tie into why you would hear that.
Well, I mean, like every now and then, like I'll be like laying in bed or whatever, and then like my ear will pop, and then it'll just be like that fucking high pitched like little brrrr, and then it's just like, yeah.
Do you ever hear it around like certain things like people, buildings, electronics,
I don't know.
areas of town?
I've never thought into it that much.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's like,
weird.
okay, so that's something that okay. How about you? Do you ever have like a high pitched or a low pitched? High or low
What's
pitched?
a low pitched hum?
Be like,
Oh, okay.
like something low,
I
bassy.
mean, none that really strike me as like something on a constant basis. Like the odd time I'll hear like a ringing in my ears, there's always that like old wives' tale or whatever that if you hear your ears ringing, someone's talking about you,
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? Like, I remember my mom and like everyone telling me that when I was younger and shit. So, I mean, nothing that really stands out. Like, sometimes if I like get up like really fast or something, like I might hear like a weird ringing in my noise or my noise in my ears. Sorry, but I mean like, I not on a constant basis.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, that's what I
it's
mean. Like, it's not constant, but I mean
like obviously reading this is interesting. Like I might like kind of take into account next time I hear it. Where am I? What was I doing? What happened prior?
Yeah. But yeah, like, okay, so the high pitched ringing. So yeah, we both have some sort of hearing damage that would attribute to that. That's what I attribute to anyways, hearing damage from listening to just shit too loud.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's symptom number 1. Symptom number 2, unusual cellulite accumulation. Cellulite buildup around well-used muscled areas may appear after several months of microwave mind control exposure.
What is microwave mind control exposure? Is that like just being around your microwave? Like,
I'm not sure because, frankly,
no. I mean, that thing's fucking plugged in all the time, and I guess I got a bit of cellulite. Like, cellulite's like the weird, like, stretchy marks, right? Like, stretch marks?
Yeah, that's basically
Okay.
what it is. Stretch
like, I mean,
marks.
like, I have that because I have, like, losing gain weight, like, nobody's business, but,
But see, I got the metabolism of a hummingbird. I've always been a skinny motherfucker.
we need to unplug the microwave right now. But that's interesting. So, well-used muscle area. So that would be like your legs, like back of your legs. I think that's where
like,
most of the cellulite is on people. Your arms is another big one. Like,
well, okay, so
I
yeah,
have
like,
some on my arms.
so like, well, in that case, then, like, I mean, well-used muscle layers. I skateboarded a lot when I was younger, so like my legs should have cellulite in this instance.
They're also super hairy, so I mean, in
But
this
I mean, like,
lighting,
there's
we might not be
no-
able to tell. But like, if you've never noticed any, like,
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely do not have any cellulite whatsoever.
I have some like on my stomach and like my arms, like my inner arms, and I don't have it anymore. I used to have it like on the back of like my knees and stuff, but like I haven't noticed it growing or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I mean,
like, I
well
don't stare
used
at it all
muscle
the
areas.
time.
I mean, you fucking want to take the bus everywhere, motherfucker.
Yeah,
So-
I'm trying to walk more, but yeah, that one's weird. That's to me, that's an odd. Like, I can get the high pitched ringing noises. Like, that sounds kind of like conspiracy shit,
So-
whatever. But like cellulite is
so,
interesting. I think we
real-
might need to even
real
look
gi-
up
real give-
microwave mind control too.
We'll give a
like-
point to high pitch ringing and unusual cellulite accumulation. I'm gonna give 0 because
Well, we might have to look up the
mean-
microwave mind control exposure.
Well, that's the
to
other thing, too,
figure out
though.
what that
Like,
actually means. Like,
what the fuck are you
definition
gonna
of
do
it.
with microwave radiation? All it does is fucking accelerate water particles. It's non-ionizing, so it doesn't destroy
True.
cells.
Yeah.
It just makes water vibrate real fast.
But it says it may appear after several months of microwave mind
True.
control. So that would be exposed to this for numerous months, not just sporadically or
Yeah, it'd
every
be
now
like-
and then, right?
Be like, well, what, several's analogous to like
3,
7 or something like
right?
that.
Oh.
I think several's like 7. I don't know. I don't.
I know
remember the exact
2's
thing.
double. and
2 is a
3
couple.
3 is a
three-
threesome.
3 is a few.
Oh. Well, that's awkward.
Okay, so we'll dismiss that one. So we got 1 out of 15.
Yeah. You might have to look into that microwave mind control. I want to know
We
like
will.
the actual
We
definition
will.
of that one.
That's for the after
Seems
show.
odd. But yeah.
Altered body vibrations coming in at number 3. So a strange vibration felt throughout the body or head may suggest you're targeted.
So,
This
I
one,
think I've felt things similar to that before.
I think I have an idea of what they're talking about here. I mean, like, I've definitely had like muscle spasms and stuff where it like almost feels like you're vibrating. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know about that one.
I've had things before where like it starts in my head and kind of vibrates down through my body, in certain circumstances and stuff. Like if I what's the word I'm looking for? If I it's like work out or like strain my muscles and like to the point where your head kind of starts like beating a lot.
Yeah.
Like I felt like a vibration through my body from like caused by that, what I would assume would be caused by that. But I mean, like on a regular basis, like some vibrations I've never felt. I mean,
Well, like
certain parts of my body might have felt a vibration.
yeah,
Wink,
like
wink. But
yeah, like I don't know, like I said earlier, fucking the early days of skateboarding and being an active individual.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I'd strained like my legs and what have you through a day of fucking skateboarding and biking around, like yeah, I would feel like a strain, almost a vibration. But
It makes sense.
I mean, in the like past while, a long time, I have been very inactive, and
Or would
no.
like being really cold, like you get your smaller frame, so you get like
No,
when
not
when
like a
you're
shiver.
cold, you, like,
Not a
shake.
shiver. Not a shiver.
Okay, so something
like
other
a
than
spasm
that,
almost,
like
like
it
a
says
muscle
starts
spasm.
in your head, pretty much, body or your head,
Body, your head. Yeah, so like almost like a muscle spasm. Like you
but throughout your whole body, or
feel
at least
like you'd feel like.
pulsating.
I mean, you guys can't see this right now, but like you would feel like you're going like this.
Michael J. Fox
But
and
you're
MDMA,
not.
basically.
Like your hand would actually be still like this, but it would feel like it's going like this kind of deal.
Yeah,
So that one, I don't know.
I could understand that one, like, sort of.
I just had the feeling, but I don't think I've ever like experienced when I shouldn't have.
Okay, well, let's move on to number 4. You hear electronic voices or plasma statics. If a strange voice is heard in your head or a static sound, it suggests mind control. So electronic voices, would that be like Microsoft Sam? Like, what does it mean by electronic voices?
I'm not entirely sure.
Because, like, I hear random voices, and sometimes, like, I mean, I'm kind of sensitive to
Sarah,
that sort
you
of
need
thing.
to assassinate the president.
Never heard that one yet, but, I mean,
Or sorry,
Donald Trump
Sarah,
gets
you need to assassinate the prime minister.
that's bad. I like Trudeau.
I do too.
Yeah.
He's
but
very
anyway,
charismatic.
two things you
individual.
should not talk about: religion and politics. Anyway, so electronic voices would be something like that.
Or
like,
plasma
like a-
static. What exactly is plasma statics?
I don't know.
That's
I
another
thought
thing that we
maybe
should
that's a
look into.
term for, like, just static.
Let's open up a new tab here. Let's see what plasma statics
Like,
are.
people that hear static on a TV are just like, nah. But, okay, quick Google search.
Just looking at the initial results, there's nothing relevant.
No. Okay, so plasma statics, we might need to look a bit further. The first page on Google. But I mean, like, when I hear static on a TV, or, like, that's the only static I can think of. Or, like,
Static on a
music or-
TV is cosmic background radiation.
Okay.
Technically, the static on your TV does not exist as far as like something that is, from Earth. It's not from Earth. That fuzzy pattern that you see and everything, that's
Yes.
cosmic background radiation from the fucking Big Bang.
Amazing.
It's fucking wonderful.
Oh my god. Okay.
Science, bitch.
I did not know. You just blew my mind. That's amazing. That's fucking dope as shit.
But no,
yeah.
I don't hear voices, and I don't think I've ever heard static sounds other than
I
the
hear
ringing.
voices.
I mean, the ringing.
Yeah. That's the only thing
Do I
you
need
can...
to find a new roommate? You hear
No,
voices in your head.
You've known me 13 years, and I've not killed anyone that you know of yet. So,
It's true.
yeah. But, I mean, like, yeah, the odd time, but I'm also, like, really sensitive to, like, spirits and energy shit, which you don't fully believe in. That's
I'm
okay.
a bit of a skeptic.
But, I mean, like, I hear voices sometimes and stuff, but, I mean, like, nothing that is, like, in my head,
Yeah.
you know?
You don't have voices
Where it's
telling
just
you
like,
what to do.
I don't, like, sit in my room and I hear something and be like, turn on the TV. I don't even have a fucking television in my room anyway. But, like, weird shit like that. And, static,
Watch
like,
Jessica Jones on Netflix now.
we should be sponsored. by
Not sponsored by
things.
Netflix or
By
Jessica Jones.
Monster Energy drink and beer. That's what we did today. Anyway,
Shh.
yes, let's move on to the next one.
So, extreme mood swings. Sudden swings into depression, anxiety, and anger, or giddiness and laughter and crying may be diagnosed as bipolar. Well, I have no diagnosis for my mental disorders.
Mine are all over the place, so it's hard to pinpoint which one's the culprit. Personally, extreme mood swings, I don't have them, like, suddenly just, like, drop of the dime. I'm super happy, and then I'm just like, fuck, I hate my life. Usually they're caused by something. Like, if something upsets me, then I kind of freak out a little bit, or if I have, like, anxiety and stuff like that. But, I mean, like, they're not sudden, like super quick. It's just like maybe something triggers it, and I'm just like, fuck. Like maybe that is like defined as sudden, but yeah.
I don't know, like sudden swings into depression. Like I don't know about sudden.
There's always like a culprit or something pissed you off or set you off or something in some
like,
sort of way.
Okay, so sudden swings into depression, anxiety, and anger. Like, I don't know. I guess like, technically I've always been fairly depressed and anxious. I mean,
it doesn't overwhelm you though.
No, it definitely doesn't. I mean, well,
like
to
it's
a
always
degree.
there, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, you can still like laugh and have a good
Well,
time.
yeah, like I'm always anxious of situations and what have you. But if I like one as that's very short lived. As soon as I become comfortable with the situation, I mean,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I've done this a couple times. I've watched whoever do this a couple of times. Like I feel confident in my ability to do it. Whatever, that anxiousness kind of goes away. Depression, I mean, Jesus Christ, who the fuck isn't depressed nowadays? What's there not to be depressed about? I mean, fucking, our world is shit.
We need some of those rose-colored glasses.
Yeah. Giddiness, laughter, and crying. That I usually just attribute to drug use.
Yeah. Drug use, drunkenness, happy situations.
Smoke a joint and then you're
watch
fucking...
a funny movie, listen to a good song, like make jokes with friends, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoke a fat doob, you're fucking laughing your ass off for a while.
You're watching
like,
Pee-wee's fucking... is it Big Adventure?
Oh, yeah.
The new one?
Yeah, the new movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure or
I think
something.
that's what it was
I
called.
don't know. I wasn't
remember.
even stoned when I watched that, and Jesus Christ, this is like the
put
weirdest,
it on.
funniest thing.
Pee-wee's
This is
fucking amazing.
great.
Netflix. Yeah. All right, next one.
And bipolar. Yeah, neither of us have been diagnosed as bipolar. I don't think. I have not. Anyway. Continuing on. Body pains. If your organs and body ache, you have pounding headaches, or your very bones hurt, it may suggest you're a target. Now, this one I find interesting because, well, I mean, I often have pounding headaches, which I attribute to lack of caffeine.
Makes sense.
I'm an avid coffee drinker or energy drink or whatever. If it's got caffeine in it, I want it. I mean, I've drank like 3 liters of fucking Monster Energy drink within a span of 24 hours, and I'm still alive.
Did not die.
Yeah, didn't die. But, I mean, like, if I wake up and I don't have a coffee within a couple of hours, like, my head is pounding. Like, I'm fucking done.
Well, you can even, like, well, fuck, I've known you a long time. Plus, I live with you. So, I mean, you can kind of see your personality, because you're usually really quiet until you have some sort of caffeine inside of you. And then you're kind of slowly getting back to normal, and then normal.
Yeah.
What about, like, organs and bones?
Again, I mean, my bones, not so much, since I stopped skateboarding a lot a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, organs and body ache, I mean, sometimes I'll get, like, random pains, like, I don't know exactly what it is, but, like, just under my collarbone on the left side, in, like, that muscle, right there, I don't know, it's fleshy, I don't know what it actually controls, I can't feel it right now.
Yeah.
But, like, occasionally that'll hurt for no apparent reason, or, like, my neck will hurt, but I usually just attribute that to, like, sleeping in a weird manner, or what have you.
Makes sense. Me, personally, organs, sometimes I get weird pains, like, usually in my back or something, but, I mean, nothing terrible, or, like, obviously sleeping the wrong way, your neck might hurt a bit, but who knows why your neck hurts. Is it sleeping? I don't know. Headaches, I very rarely get headaches. Bones don't hurt. Body aches, like if I stand for long periods of time, my lower back hurts, but
Yeah, but
that was actually dismissed not too long ago when I was at the gym, for breaking my ankle when I was 10 and not actually going through like the correct therapy to make sure I'm walking correctly and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
the proper
dismissible.
physio.
Yeah. So body pains,
I think we'll dismiss that one for the most
we're
part.
kind of like 0.5 on that, because your weird pain you get.
Yeah,
and my like odd pain, like usually like in my back, like kidney area and stuff. That could also be if I'm drinking like a lot of sugar, or not drinking enough water, or whatever. It might hurt, but yeah.
So yeah. We're like kind of there, maybe.
Yeah.
So sense the next one here is sense of being outside one's thoughts and mind. When you are no longer in control of your mind, you may feel outside your own body and its actions. No. I don't really have much to say on that one other than like no.
I'm always in control of what I do. Like, I don't get the sense of just, I need to do this right now and not, like, be aware of why, you know? I've talked to people before that have had experiences, either a one-time deal or an ongoing thing, and I'll mention to you who that person was after, where they said to me, it was kind of an odd conversation. They asked if I've ever felt, me personally have ever felt that I'm not in control of what I do and I'm just doing something like some other higher thing is telling me to do these things. And I was like, no, I mean, like, we all have weird days and stuff, whatever. And they're like, no, like, pretty adamant on that someone else is controlling them, which was odd to me. I just told them, well, they were seeing a therapist for various reasons. I just told them, you know, maybe talk to your therapist about that.
Yeah.
Because that's something that isn't normal to feel that. So, me personally, no, like.
Yeah, no, I mean, I clearly do not make the best decisions a lot of the time when it comes to
life
and such.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm in control of it. If I were to actually see the benefit of, like, you know, making, what the fuck is that Tokolosh cat doing?
Digging in that box. And now he's being all cute because we're both staring at him. That didn't work.
Anyway.
Okay.
So I mean, like, yeah, no, I'm as far as I'm concerned, I feel like
You're
I'm
always
in
lucid
control.
and know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes. Alright, so next one. Memory loss. Short and long duration blackouts and memory loss. Brain farts and memory blocks to certain issues all suggest mind control.
Okay, now.
Guilty. I have
be...
insane memory loss about lots of things.
Yeah, and I'll be frank. Like, I smoked a lot of pot.
I have smoked the marijuanas. Have you
And
injected the marijuanas?
I have not injected the marijuanas. I
heard that's
really
how
don't
everything goes
recommend doing
downhill.
that because injecting resin into your bloodstream is probably not a great idea.
No.
Now, okay, so, like, fuck. Yeah, short-term memory loss, definitely an issue sometimes. Long-duration blackouts, though, like, no.
I only have one, but I was drunk and I drank a lot of alcohol in a very short period of time.
The only time that I've ever had a long-duration blackout is when drinking. More specifically, the most recent case of which would have been when I went out drinking with a friend and came home, and I don't recall 90% of what you told me I had said when I came home. There's something, like, I needed a pot to puke in.
Oh, right, yeah. And my boyfriend at the time gave you a pot.
Well, like, I took,
You
like,
tried to
this
take
little
something.
pot, and I stuck with my little pot.
Yeah. And he was just like, no, here's a pot.
Like, I can't fill this.
I think you fucking... Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
something
that
like
was
that.
it. Yeah, I think you got, like, a Tupperware container or something.
No, it wasn't a Tupperware container. It was just a small pot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, right, like the
And
sauce pot.
he tried to give me, like, a fucking, like, pasta,
Bigger
like
pot.
a big fucking pot, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I can't fill that out. And then there was some other stuff. Like, all I remember is fucking taking off from downtown with from my buddy. I don't even know what the fuck he was doing. He went to go do something. And I'm just like, fuck this shit. I'm drunk as shit, and I'm going the fuck home. So I just wandered my fucking drunk ass home. I'm amazed that I fucking made it here. And then I go and do all this other random shit and fucking get my pot and go to bed. I don't remember any of the random shit. All I remember is fucking getting home, managing to get the fuck inside my apartment, and then getting a pot and going to bed.
Yeah.
And, like, you guys were just like, oh man, no, you did this and that and the other thing, and it's just like, what the fuck are you on?
I can't really remember all that you did, but I do remember the pot thing.
Yeah, like, I apparently did a lot when I got home.
Like, the only time I've ever been blacked out was when I was drunk. I was living in a house with a bunch of people, and one of the people I lived with, my friend also, he worked at like a restaurant or whatever, and some guy got hired on that turned out was one of my old friends from high school. And I was like, shit, like invite him over. I haven't seen him in fucking forever. So we invite him over. I went out and got a 26er of lemon Bacardi, I remember. Why? No fucking idea. I normally don't drink that at all. And we started drinking. We were just doing shots. No chase, whatever, just shots. And then I was just like, let's fucking do shot for shot. By the end of that 26er, it took... we were done really quick, like 20 minutes or so. Don't really remember what happened. Vaguely remember walking down the street and with my friend and my roommate. And then I woke up on the couch in our living room with a bunch of my friends, like just sitting there hanging out, smoking pot, fucking watching TV or whatever. And I had no idea what the hell happened. I had my friend's sweater over me. My friend was not there. And I was like, what the fuck happened? There's a pack of cigarettes on my lap. And they're like, oh, so-and-so. Like, you guys went to the store, he came back, and, like, you were, like, passing out, so he took off. And, like, you stole a sweater or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I was out for quite a few hours. Like, that was the only time I've ever been blacked out, like, ever. Short-term memory and long-term memory for me are just terrible. Like, we actually had this discussion today, like, trying to remember things from, like, our childhood. There's, like, certain things that'll stick out, like, weird little stories, but then there's, like, for me, there's gaps, like, years where I don't remember certain things.
Oh, yeah.
Short-term memory is fucking terrible. I'll think of doing something, then I'll get doing something else, and then I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to do something, and totally fucking forget it, and it's just fucking gonzo.
Yeah.
But,
like, I mean,
all the time.
I was trying to, like, remember back to, like, when I was 6 or 7, so that's almost 20 years ago at this point.
I mean, very long time, yeah.
It's just like, yeah, like, I don't know, I don't remember a lot of stuff from then. I mean, I remember one or two instances when I was like maybe 5 or 6, maybe even 4. Couple instances up like between 7 and 10, and then I don't know, like somewhere around 15 is where I can start like actually solidly remembering things.
Yeah.
But before that, it's just like, yeah, there's a lot. Like it would take someone jogging my memory to like actually remind me of this stuff. Like I'd have to talk to my mom or something, and she'd be like, "Oh, you did this when you were like 9 years old," and I'd be like, "Oh fuck, okay, yeah, I remember that." But like for the most part, it's just like, no, I can't like just pull this out of my ass right now and fucking remember it.
And there's the whole like walking in a room trying to find something that you forget what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Or you go and get a drink, put it on the counter, go to the bathroom, come out and go sit back down, and then you're just like, shit, whatever.
Oh man, I forget my coffee on the counter all the time.
I forget everything all the time. There's
Coffee,
like 2 things I always have when I leave my house. Wallet, sometimes keys, depending on if I'm going out with you, because usually I make you bring your keys.
Yeah.
But always have my wallet with me, unless like obviously I'm going somewhere where I don't need it, like, or have any money basically. And then I don't. But so I mean, like memory loss, I think that one's like I would give that one a half mark, just because we both experienced.
I give it a quarter because it's usually attributed to fucking alcohol and drug use.
Yeah, there's a like the other one. There's always something that causes it.
And there's also brain farts and memory blocks to certain issues. So I mean, like brain farts. I don't know. I don't often suffer from brain farts. I mean,
what is the actual definition of a brain fart?
A brain fart is just like something on the tip of your tongue, kind of. You know, in your mind, you know what you're fucking trying to say, but you cannot say it.
But I'm also terrible at like speaking words. I'm good at like writing and typing things. When it comes to actually speaking and like recalling like a memory, I always like kind of stumble a bit.
Yeah. Or
like a story or something.
Or like I attribute that to like I remember one time in like it would have been like grade 6 or something. I was at the public school here in Peterborough, and yeah, I just remember like I needed to say the word no, like, do you know this, or like, something along those lines. And I'm standing at the intersection right like in front of the school, and I'm talking to someone, and I'm like, do you
just stumbling. What's the word?
Do you wait? Shit, I can't remember the word right now. And the word was no. I could not remember the word no.
Wow.
For the fucking life of me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck?
I get that a lot, especially when I'm trying to, like... It's usually when I'm trying to, like, express, like, some sort of emotion or something like that. Or, like, a feeling that's not, like, angry, sad, happy.
Yeah.
It's just like, I was... And very few people can kind of understand what I'm talking about most of the time, but yeah, so that one, I feel like I have a lot of memory loss and shit, personally, but I mean, blackouts is the only thing I can't really recall having a lot out of, and I mean, I've drank my
They're
fair
blackouts,
share
how
of
the hell are
alcohol,
you supposed to recall that?
and I've done my share of drugs and both, and it was fucking glorious, but yeah, so I mean, that one is... Yeah, I think we all have some sort of form of memory loss. It's just how frequent is such memory loss.
Yeah. Is it frequent enough to suggest mind control? I'll be controlled in the night.
Oh dear. Okay, next one.
So, unusual thoughts and dreams. Unusual thought patterns and strange dreams that don't feel like your own may not be your own.
Dun, dun, dun.
Psychotronic weapons can put images and thoughts into sleeping minds, brainwashing a victim at night. Now, I don't know, but I occasionally have some weird-ass fucking dreams. I don't usually recall them after waking up.
So we've had this conversation. You rarely remember your dreams. Or think you don't dream and such.
That's also part of, like, having been a stoner for a while. Like, a lot of people that smoke pot, they will tell you, like, they don't dream or just straight up, like, do not recall them.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, I've read a lot, like, somewhere that, like, we all dream. It's just a matter of recalling, and you forget, like,
you forget, like, 90%
like,
of it, like, within the first, like, minutes of being awake.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, go over a dream right away, like, as soon as you wake up. But, unusual thought, I don't know, like, definitely had some fucking, like, weird-ass dreams. I don't really know what to attribute those to, though. Or recall exactly what they are.
Weird situations where it's like not something you'd be in. So say you're like, oh, I don't know, like a fucking like cop or a CIA agent or something like that, or you're like hunting or looking for someone or like strange shit like that you recalled if you had any.
I don't specifically, like, I don't know. The only thing that I can really come up with is like I remember waking like numerous times, like even recently. I've woken up just confused as shit. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like, after you have that, like, brutal math test, and you're, like, looking at the fucking formula, and you're just like, what the fuck is this?
What is life?
Like, yeah. I don't understand a goddamn letter that is on this page. Like, yeah, like, I've woken up and just been like, what the actual fuck? And then, like, minutes later, it's just like, wait, what did I even, like, dream? Mm-hmm. So, I guess, yeah, to a degree. I don't...
Not often, but
I don't really know if it's not my own, because it's definitely, like, pertained to, like, stuff that's happened in my life.
Yeah.
Be it fucking, you know, half an hour before I fell asleep or, you know, 15 years ago. I've definitely had some weird-ass fucking dreams that just do not make sense. But, I don't know.
It's a different one. Me, Jesus Christ, you know, I have very fucking weird dreams on a almost nightly basis, and they're just all over the place. The odd time I have like woken up from usually like a nightmare or like sleep paralysis, and I've come out just like fucking half sleeping or whatever, and Chris is usually up, and I just tell him what the fuck, and like. Thought patterns, I think that's on its own, like thought patterns and dreams.
Yeah.
So what would like an unusual thought pattern be?
I don't really know. Like,
something being like, I need to go here. Like, I need to leave my house and I need to go downtown and go to the coffee shop or something. I need to do that right now. Like, would that be unusual?
Maybe.
I mean, like, if that's not, like, what you normally do kind of thing.
Unusual thought patterns. Yeah, like, I don't know. That one's pretty open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Like, what is an unusual thought pattern? Like,
I mean, like, sometimes I get urges that I need to do something. or like read something or look something up and
But is that really like an unusual thought pattern, or is that just like, is it out of nowhere, or like you've seen something and you're like, oh, that's interesting, and then fucking like it kind of takes you off into some tangent of,
Oh, I have that all the time. I remember like fairly recently, like a few weeks ago, I was at my parents' house, or maybe it was months ago, I'm not sure. But my mom was determined that I have diabetes and everything because she takes my fucking blood all the time. And she's like, you need to like look it up and like just read about it and stuff. So I started reading about diabetes, and then I got like super sidetracked and like got to this weird article explaining how vampires are diabetics and shit, and I'm like, I'm a vampire? Like I remember reading about that, and it's just like, how the fuck did I even get here? But yeah, I mean, like that's kind of weird. But dreams, I always have fucking weird ass dreams. Interesting. What's that? Psychotronic weapons.
Yeah.
So would that be like what would that be? Like lasers or like beams or something that's like
that would be
general
some
vicinity.
Sort of futuristic technology that would manipulate brainwaves into sleeping. Okay, psychotronic weapons can put images and thoughts into sleeping minds, brainwashing a victim at night. So I don't know where this is going. Is basically like, yeah, it would be like some sort of beta wave emitter that would like alter your unconscious mind into like seeing certain things or like producing certain images and what have you while you're sleeping.
But that's odd in its own, because I mean, like, if you listen to music or like fall asleep watching a movie or television or something, I mean, I've had it before where I've had like dreams that have been situated around what I'm listening to that I remember, and it's just like, oh, that's because I was watching The fucking Shining. Don't ever fucking watch that movie and try and fall asleep. Actually do it, because it's fucking scary as shit. But I mean, I've had shit like that happen, but like, I mean, these are like actual weapons per se, which I mean that.
Who knows?
Could be
your laptop could be a weapon against your own fucking mind, man.
Exactly. Hackers.
So, not too sure about that.
No, definitely not. But yeah, like it would actually have to be something. I mean, that's also kind of loose too, because I mean, music or movies or TV shows or whatever could even be this weapon that they speak of, right?
Yeah, like how does a psychotronic weapon? How would that work?
I've never woken up from a dream and just been like feel like completely different. That lasts more than like maybe an hour or so. And usually that's just trying to figure out like what the fuck does this dream mean?
Yeah,
this is
like
weird.
I've just experienced something very strange in my mind and I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Dreams are just fucking weird, man.
They're
like,
odd.
Let's go on a DMT trip and fucking
Sold. Let's do it.
That's basically what you're doing when you sleep.
Well, yeah, your brain releases that, right?
Yeah.
DMT. It occurs naturally in your brain. I mean, like, people even take DMT to experience this and everything, too, which is interesting.
Well, I mean, and on that tangent, fucking, we produce, it's not THC, but it's THC analog. It, like, binds to the THC receptors in your brain, which, for one, we have THC receptors in our brain. And we also produce this semi-psychoactive substance in our own heads occasionally, which I don't know how that factors into anything, but we do.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Well, I mean, like weed on its own is interesting. It's like the different strains, like some make you giddy and like help with depression and whatnot. Others like help basically like conk you out almost, like help with pain and everything. And it's just the certain strain in your brain. Your brain matter.
Strain in your membrane.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on to the next one.
Mental illness.
Classy.
Thank you. Victims may feel or sense their mind being invaded, but are unaware they are being targeted. Family and friends may assume a mental illness instead of mind control. That one's just super fucking vague.
Yeah, like what?
It's just like mental illness. I mean, that's such a weird subject, because there either is all these things like any sort of mental illness like schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, fucking etc., etc., etc.
ADHD.
These things could all be legitimate, or it could mean other things. Like, how do we know this?
Yeah. And family and friends may assume mental illness instead of mind control. Like, I don't know, fucking,
ADHD, ADD, or like one thing we can both, like, I've been tested for it.
I don't have ADD. I'm an indigo child.
Yes.
That's a topic for another
Indigo
episode.
child. Yes. But no, like, we both can relate to ADD or ADHD, because I've been diagnosed with ADD. You, were you diagnosed with ADHD?
I remember in, like, grade 5 or 6, my school wanted to put me on Ritalin, and my mom just refused. I can definitely see where I have, like, ADD tendencies or ADHD tendencies.
Definitely, yeah.
Because, I mean, I have trouble focusing on something and what have you, but that's
You
mostly
need
just because
focus.
it doesn't fucking interest me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, if something does not interest me, I'm not going to pay attention. I'm just not going to...
Well, just like,
you know,
sometimes
whatever.
it's hard for me, like, when I know I need to pay attention to something, it's hard for me to do so because I keep thinking about how I need to pay attention, and that's important, and then I don't end up paying attention.
Yeah.
Or there's the I'm not interested sort of thing, trying to, like, I'm trying here, but it's not working kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had family or friends assume any kind of mental illness of me, though, so...
Oh, jeez. We need to have a talk after.
Oh.
No,
Shit.
but, yeah, that's, I mean, that's pretty vague in its own, and that even the victims may feel or sense their mind being invaded. So I think that might even relate back to the bipolar one that we covered, is if, like, you have sudden bouts of being super happy, depressed, etc., and maybe you are being invaded, like, that's hard to kind of assume. I mean, even that on its own, like, even having this quote-unquote mental illness, do they exist? Do they not? I don't know. And then also feeling that you don't have it, you are being invaded. Is that a mental illness in its own? Like, that to me sounds like some form of schizophrenia right there. Like, you know, don't believe you have a problem, but maybe you do, maybe you don't. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That one's very vague. I
Yeah,
think
I'm not-
that's the vaguest one.
I'm not
right
sure
there.
how to really look at that one.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next one here, which is visual disturbances. Victims may hallucinate or have problems with their eyesight and experience visual disturbances.
Yes.
That one I'm a little... I don't know. The only, like...
Do you see shit out of the corner of your eye, or...
Not often, no. And the only problem with my eyesight that I've ever experienced is one of the lecture halls at the college I attended. They had nothing but fluorescent lights in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And I could see me and a couple of other individuals in the class were able to just...
Cat, you're a fucking dick.
Tokalash, what doing? Anyway.
You just knocked over the beer can. It's empty anyway,
That's fine.
sadly.
So, like, the only visual disturbance or whatever that I've ever had was,
Oh, now he's got a pen.
like I said, that,
Continue.
so that whole, like, classroom environment, or, like,
That's mine.
what do you call it? Auditorium. That's what it is. It was an auditorium. So in that auditorium, there was those fluorescent lights, and like I said, me and a couple of other individuals, we could actually see the flicker of
Oh, that's
the
annoying.
fluorescent light.
Right.
So the other weird thing I find about that too is that those of us, the like handful of us that were able to distinguish that, were people that were avid gamers. We spent a lot of time on computers. We spent a lot of time behind screens, and like we're the kind of people that could easily distinguish between like a 60 hertz monitor, your standard television or computer monitor, and a 120 hertz monitor. Like, the video source doesn't have to be different or anything, but we could tell, like, instantaneously, like, I'm watching this on 120 hertz monitor.
Yeah.
I'm watching this on 144 hertz monitor. Like, oh, that's only playing back at 30 FPS, like, whatever. So, I mean,
The
that...
cat's being an asshole right now.
Yeah,
What do you have?
that's his
Oh,
job.
he just ran down the hall with a fucking paintbrush.
Oh, dear.
Continue talking
Um, so yeah, may hallucinate or have problems with their eyesight and experience visual disturbances. I don't know. Like, there's not really anything that I
touch on that one though, so don't move to the next.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's nothing that I really personally have that kind of fits into this category.
Yeah. Cat's going crazy. He's gonna take a dump soon.
Probably.
He always does a shit dance. But yeah, visual disturbances. I get a lot of those. I can relate them to that I'm fucking blind. Like, I wear glasses. When I wear my glasses, occasionally, and this has happened a couple weeks ago, if you remember, I'll see things out of the corner of my eye, or like weird, like black shadows and stuff. Again, I can relate that to being open to paranormal shit, basically. If you remember, prior to my grandfather dying a couple weeks ago, actually it would have been a month now, it was like a couple days before, I saw this weird black shadow kind of when we were sitting in the living room, and I told Chris, like, someone's gonna die pretty soon. And a couple days passed, and then my grandfather, like, actually passed away, which was very odd. Without my glasses on, I think it's just like, because I'm pretty blind as it is, and like everything's like super blurry when I don't have my glasses on, especially like in a dark room. Even if there's like a bit of light coming in from like the street or something like that, I'll see like weird floating things and stuff, and just like weird shapes, because everything's so blurry. I won't be able to like really make out something in my room when I'm like
so
laying
your mind
there at
kind
night.
of fills in the blanks.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean,
Same way that you can't see your nose, but it's always in your view.
exactly. I wouldn't necessarily say I hallucinate these things, because I know I legitimately see them. I mean, I have hallucinated my fair share in my day, which has usually been drug-induced, etc. Fun times, indeed. But yeah, I mean, like, once I saw 2 giant gorillas when I was on mushrooms, and that was cool. But yeah, I mean, like, they go away.
I had a friend try and talk to spiders in the middle of a fucking street before. That was interesting.
Really?
They thought they saw spiders, like, crawling around in the road, and they were trying to talk to
Oh
them.
my god.
It's like, you need to get the fuck off the road right now, you stupid
I've
motherfucker.
actually come to think about, like, seeing spiders and shit, because I have sleep paralysis as well. Usually I have a couple episodes a month. I mostly have them under control now, so when I actually feel like I am getting into this part, usually I'll somehow wake up from it or snap out of it, basically, but the odd time I don't. Generally when I wake up, quote unquote, for that, or basically open my eyes, because my eyes are kind of the only thing I can control, is if I look at something, I can actually see, like, clear as a bell. Then again, I also have terrible vision, so I can't actually make out shapes, but I see spiders or numbers. Or and like bugs, like they're usually brightly colored, like orange, the bugs, or they're like black, and they're all like, it looks like they're all like coming out of a hole, like there's lots of them. Or I'll see random numbers and stuff, which is odd. I can't ever remember these numbers because there's like so many and they're all jumbled and stuff, but I mean, that's another hallucination, I guess you could say, that is not drug induced. Well, drug, DMT possibly, because you're kind of coming out of sleep and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, that one,
Well,
I
I mean,
kind of
with,
feel strongly
with
about.
sleep
but
paralysis, I mean, technically you should still be under the effects of the dream-producing DMT, except you're conscious.
and you can't move.
Yeah.
Like my first bout of sleep paralysis, I didn't know what the hell happened, but basically, I was 13 and I had this nightmare and I couldn't move. I like woke up, my eyes are open, I can move my eyes around, and I saw this like head that was upside down on my ceiling. And it was a man, and he had like dark hair and like a dark like beard, and he was laughing at me, and he had like dark eyes and everything. And I started to get like really creeped out and shit, and like really scared, because I didn't really know what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
And then like my eyes kind of like moved to like beside me, which is kind of like where my door was, and there was like this thing, I don't know what it was, but it was super tall and like almost like in like a cloak or like a bathrobe or something, and it was really dark and shit, and like I remember just like looking back and forth between that and the head and everything, and this thing was laughing at me, and then I somehow snapped out of it, and I had this like crazy pressure on my chest while this was happening, like I was being like pushed down into my bed, like I couldn't get up. And then when I woke up, like I obviously didn't know what the hell was happening, like started freaking out, crying, etc. I was up the rest of the night once my parents got up and whatnot, and it was like morning, acceptable time to basically move my entire bedroom around. For some reason I just didn't want to be in that spot. I did that, and I didn't have them for a while, and then they kind of started to come back again and whatnot.
And actually, speaking of the whole pressure thing, I have very rarely ever had sleep paralysis, like one or twice, like a couple of times in my life. And the pressure thing, like, I kind of think of it as an all, like, I almost like being in a bathtub, and like, you know, once you've submerged and you just have your head poking out, how it becomes harder to breathe because of the water pressure on your chest.
Right.
I do recall that, like, just that feeling of being like squished.
Yeah. Mine was more like someone was like like not like on like my stomach or anything, but like right there on my chest.
Yeah, like it's a pressure
just,
on your
like,
chest, and
pushing
it's like
hard down.
yeah, like
into
it's
my
hard
bed.
to breathe. Like you're in some So I don't know.
That one, yeah, visual disturbances I feel pretty strong about, because I mean I kind of hit all of those. But I mean it doesn't happen all the time. But then again, mind control symptoms, quote unquote, do they happen all the time?
That's true.
But yeah, we'll move on to the next one. Sudden medical problems. Sudden hair loss, swollen gums, and cataracts at a very young age. Weight loss, organ failures, all such something is wrong. Including
English.
a failing immune system for no known reason.
Failing immune system. Okay, sudden hair loss. No. I mean, I've always had long hair, so whenever I fucking, you know, brush my hair or whatever, there's definitely quite a bit of hair that comes out, but nothing like noticeable. Swollen gums. Maybe if I don't brush my teeth for a week. And cataracts, definitely not. I have better vision than most people. Weight loss. Nope. I'm a skinny motherfucker. I've always been pretty much the same, between 120 and 130. And organ failures.
Not yet.
No.
Despite the amount of caffeine you consume. Yes.
And failing immune system for no known reason. Not particularly. I mean, I've gotten pneumonia once or twice, but that was just stemming from like a sinus infection that I never took care of, and then it just kind of went down to my lungs, and then I required some amoxicillin to kind of beat it. But
Yep.
I mean, that's always happened like winter time, and kind of when it's expected to have, you know, compromised immune system. So for me, no, definitely no sudden medical problems. All my medical problems are pretty well fucking understood as to why I have them.
Yeah, justifiable for sure. Me, see, sudden hair loss. No. Like, I used to have really, really thick hair when I was younger. And then I started dyeing my hair and bleaching it, so I kind of have a bit thinner hair now. I don't have any bald spots or anything, but, I mean, you could chalk that up to dyeing my hair all the time.
Yeah.
Swollen gums I've never had, unless I had, like, some sort of, like, infection from, like, something in my gums, like seed or something I've had.
Yeah, like popcorn kernels stuck up inside one of your teeth.
Cataracts, never. Weight loss, sadly, no. I want that one, no. I mean, like, I've lost weight a lot when I was younger and would gain weight, but now I'm pretty much past that. Organ failures, nope. Can't say anything. Immune system, I'm pretty much the same as Chris here. The odd time I'll get sick and whatnot. I mean, I smoke a lot, so usually I get sick a couple times of the year. Usually, like, fall, winter, or spring.
Just kind of
I'll
when
get,
there's
like,
like a
sick
sudden
once, but
change in
temperature and whatnot.
yeah, like when there's significant environmental changes, which I mean
Yeah.
in Canada those are our significant environmental changes. When you go from fall to winter, that's like going from, between 10 to 15 degrees Celsius a day to, negatives
Yeah.
in a very short period of time. It only takes
So,
us a
like,
couple of weeks.
Precipitation and everything's another big one. Like sometimes if it's raining and I have my window open, I'll wake up the next day like super stuffy, or my ear might hurt for a bit or whatever. But no, like medical problems, I think I'm out on that one
Yeah,
pretty much.
same here.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll move on to the next one. This one's fun. Paranoia. A person will think or feel they're being watched or followed, spied on, or targeted.
No. I don't have to. I no.
I say living with someone that I can have these great conversations with if I start to feel like really sketchy or feel like people are watching me or whatever is great, because those are easily justifiable, or I'm just being retarded.
You usually just come out here and then I make fun of you.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, that makes sense. But I mean, like, being watched or followed, spied on, or targeted, I don't feel that way.
Not to like an extreme extent.
No.
I mean, like, you might have like, the one random plenty of fish fucking person that's like
One? No.
one or two. Well, in your case, yeah, being a female in your case, like, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a couple of weird plenty of fish people that are just like, how did you get my MSN Messenger? Like, and think about that too, MSN Messenger.
Yeah, that would be
Like a
yeah,
while
your
ago.
email. Yeah. But yeah, like stuff like that, I mean, was justified and whatnot, from either what they said, their explanation, or what couple, Chris and another friend, said happened. But I mean, like, in general, I don't feel that way. I don't see people fucking looking at me or have this weird feeling, see fucking lights in my window, whatnot.
Yeah, and like followed, spied on, targeted. Like, I don't know, I walk around pretty freely and I don't feel like anybody's following me or
Yeah.
watching me unless I'm doing something really sketchy, and then I'm worried about people like watching me.
Yeah.
But then again,
Then
I'm doing
again, that
something
one-
sketchy, so that kind of justifies paranoia.
It's kind of open, you know. What's that saying? Just because they're not following you doesn't mean... I can't remember.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Just
Just
hold
because
on.
they're not following doesn't mean they're not watching you.
Gosh.
No?
It's a lyric from a fucking Nirvana song. Just because they're
Nirvana.
not after you doesn't... I can't remember. But if you know what it is, tell me, please, because it's hurting my brain. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, not particularly paranoid.
I think sometimes people are paranoid, and I mean, people that are doing bad things
Yeah.
obviously are more paranoid because they're putting it out there that they're going to get caught, etc. So, yeah. Next one, Chris.
That's about all that. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. So the next one is ridge on finger and toenails. A lump or ridge on the fingernails or toenails suggests exterior mind control technologies are being used.
Does that mean like they're like putting something on your finger?
I'm not exactly sure
Like-
what this means
I'm looking
here,
at my fingernails now.
but like I've had instances where like there'd be like a white spot across my fingernail, but that could be attributed to a number of things. I
Yeah.
mean, that can, happen when your diet has a significant and drastic change. It could happen because like, you smashed your thumb with a fucking hammer one week, and then like, as your fingernail grows out, the bed, whatever you smash your finger down like, maybe a quarter of an inch away from the fucking base of your nail, and then a couple weeks later, once that grows out, there'll be a band because you previously injured your finger.
Yeah,
So
that's justifiable.
or lump or ridges, I mean, my fingernails are pretty smooth. There's no...
I mean, I have like a weird ridge on like... I've always had a weird ridge on like my big toe.
Yeah, but I mean,
On the
that big
left,
toes,
but-
man. Toenails grow weird as fuck
They
sometimes.
do.
Like, baby toenails, go look at your fucking baby toenail. Like, just grab your foot and look at your baby toenail. How the fuck is that even a thing? Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Mine grows super weird. Like,
Yeah, same here.
mine's like some
I've
weird...
also fucking... I've pulled it
Yeah.
almost completely off before,
Oh, I have
too.
completely lost the
So-
baby toenail on my left
Yeah.
foot once, and
But,
it
like-
came back, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, ridges, like, I have, like, a constant one on my big toe, but, like, fingernails, other than what, like, you just explained, like, I've had that happen, but
Yeah,
for the
like
most part, I have,
banding.
like, pretty long nails now because I've been growing them out. I don't have any weird spots on them.
Yeah, like I don't know, my fingernails. There's no like ridges.
And also,
if
like, I don't get that either. Like, exterior mind control technologies, like, I don't get if like they're putting like one of those weird like heart monitor things or something like on your finger, you
Yeah,
know?
like
that you get in
what's the difference
hospital,
between
or
an exterior and an interior mind control technology?
dildos. I don't know why. I just thought of dildos.
The vibrations cause your brain waves.
There you go. Females probably get that vibration thing a lot. Maybe some males. I don't judge. But yeah, that one's odd to me. I don't really.
Vibrating cock rings.
Ah. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Malfunctioning technology. Vehicles go haywire. TVs and radios mysteriously turn off or on, and watches stop.
No.
Vehicles I've never experienced because I'm never really in a vehicle because I don't have a car or know anyone with a car other than my parents. Would you stop it? That fucking Pokolosh.
Chill out, buddy. Chill out.
TVs, you know that TV story I told you when I was younger. I was, 8 or 9, I think, and we lived in a house, and it was across from Via Rail train station. Basically, there was train station, little tiny hill, dirt road, lawn, house. So when trains would go by, our house would shake. We had this like old TV, like, you know, those like wooden, like they have like the wooden box over them, like the floor model ones. We had one of those in the living room, and I don't know how it came to be, but I remember like me and my mom were sitting in the living room watching TV. My dad came home from work, and I guess he had a bunch of change in his pocket, and he was like standing there talking to us, and his hand was in his pocket, and I guess he was like fiddling around with the change. And we noticed when he was doing that, the TV was changing channels, and he thought my mom was doing it or I was doing it, and like we thought he was doing it, like we thought someone was fucking with someone. And then he like tested it out. He took like a handful of change, went up to the TV, and started just jiggling the change, and the channels would change.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened. It was only with that television. We've never experienced it with any other TV we've ever had, and even to this day with any newer flat screen televisions. But I mean, it kind of became like a fun thing to do, like a little party trick or whatever when people would come over, but it was weird.
And I'm having trouble trying to explain that one away scientifically, because I mean, the way that a television receives the signal and what have you is infrared light. So like your remote control on the end of it, I'll grab this one here, it has an infrared LED.
Right, yeah.
And there's a receptor on the television that watches for infrared light, and you know, a specific wavelength will make it do certain things. So theoretically, like with a tea light candle or something like that, you could interfere with a television remote, or even the sunlight can interfere with.
What's her name? Back in the day, did that with her Wii.
Yeah,
like the sensor bar was fucked, so she put tea lights.
Yeah. Like if your Wii is screwed up, you can put two tea lights on either side, and the Wiimote will pick up the infrared light from those things and think it's like, oh, those are the infrared lights from the fucking bar. And then there's also other instances where I used to have one of those little remote control helicopters. Yeah. Bought it for like $30 at Max Milk because
why not?
And I couldn't actually use it outside in the sunlight because the remote just wouldn't work. I'd be able to get like maybe 10 feet away from myself with this helicopter, and then I would just lose control of it.
That's crazy.
And that's just because the infrared light would screw with it. And I've also one time with an older CRT style television, during the day, if the light was coming into my room at just the right angle, the TV remote wouldn't work quite right. Like I'd press channel up or something and volume would go down. Yeah. Or I'd press like volume down and it would change to channel 6. Yeah. And it's just like, okay.
I was even ex-boyfriend's TV did the same thing.
Yeah. So like the infrared interference there will do shit. I don't quite understand the change thing because I don't see how that could have
No,
produced the
I
right.
never looked at. I'm interested to know. We should look that up after and see if we can come to
Like
some sort of.
maybe an electromagnetic field, but then even then, it's just like how
Maybe
did
it
that?
has something to do with like even because I can't remember if it happened because we had the TV for a while after we moved. I can't remember if it happened after in like a different spot or maybe it had
Yeah.
something to do with the via rail or
Yeah.
train station. I don't know. But,
And
I mean,
vehicles
like,
going haywire. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that.
what about radios?
Radios,
on or off?
no, not turning on or off, and watches stopping. No, the only time that a watch has ever stopped on me is when its battery has died.
I've had radios turn on and off before.
And I mean, I've had weird
But-
stuff happen with radios, like playing with a guitar amp. I realized that if I hold the if I held the cable the right way, or like if I held the cable in general while it was plugged into the amp and not plugged into a guitar, I could pick up certain radio stations in town.
That's amazing.
Like I myself would be picking up the radio station. Like I move my arm around and be like, "Oh, welcome to Bob 101
That's
FM."
awesome.
Like, and it's just like, wow, okay, cool. And we actually had an experience with something similar recently.
Oh right, yeah. The
my
headphones.
my wireless headset, we were charging it, and it uses a super long USB cable. And yeah, when it was plugged in, we were picking up some AM radio station. We don't know what it was.
That was creepy. I just remember putting it on. I'm like, I can hear people
Yeah,
talking.
there's voices.
You're like, what? Here. But another thing they don't actually have with technology in this little description is cell phones too. So I mean, I've had with the radio thing, I've had them turn on and off in various places. Watches never. Cell phones. One thing that was very creepy is this was going back 3 to 5 years ago. I can't really remember. But I got a call from my friend who didn't live in Peterborough at the time. She lived out in BC, and she was in town because her grandmother passed away. And she was at her house and like basically cleaning up and like going through all her stuff. So I offered to come over and help and whatnot. So prior to leaving, I like just finished charging my cell phone. I had a BlackBerry at the time. No problems with it ever before. So take my phone, whatever, head up to her grandmother's place. Get in the house, and then again, back to the paranormal things. Just a weird feeling all around. Like I just kind of felt like strange, and then I felt like kind of happy
like
at some
uneasy
points.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ended up like just kind of sitting there talking with her. We had a couple beers, and then she's like, yeah, this is what I want to do, basically cleaning up everything, going through papers and books and all the grandma stuff they have. And at one point, like, we're doing that and everything, and maybe for like an hour, not even, like a couple hours I guess would have passed at that point, and I go to pick up my phone and it's completely dead. And I was like, what the fuck? Because it had a full charge, or damn near, by the time I
Yeah.
got there. So kind of started freaking out because I thought my phone was fucking broken. So she had a phone charger, ended up plugging it in, turned on, it was at 0%. I've had that happen a couple times. They're just like crazy like drops
But,
in
like-
battery, but
But like, and that's another thing where you need to understand the technology. Like, if you're in a low reception zone, your phone is going to output
right,
like a
it'll
lot
constantly
more
be
energy.
searching. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to output a lot more energy to the antenna to like try and receive the signal or amplify the signal that it's receiving. So yeah, like when I lived with my ex in the Ottawa Valley, we were in an area that received quite literally no signal. There was one spot in the house that you could leave your cell phone and maybe receive a text message.
Wow.
And yeah, like if you didn't keep your phone plugged in while it was there, like my phone, the phone that I'm using right now, or sorry, previously to the one that I'm using right now, where we are now, it will last maybe a day and a half. Well, if I don't use it at all, it'll last 3 days,
Yeah.
like without plugging it in, what have you. And with minor usage, it'll last like a day and a half or so.
Right.
But out there, like just leaving it in that window to try and just receive a text message, if it wasn't plugged in, it's dead within a couple of hours.
Wow. Yeah.
So I
that's
mean, like,
dismissible.
yeah,
basically,
like
with cell
that's
phones.
kind of like
Ugh.
that's
went to sleep.
that's a so yeah,
Dismissible,
that's
for
kind of like a coverage area and this and that.
Yeah.
Like, how much were you using the phone? Like, yeah, you say it was at 100%, but like, if you're receiving a lot of text messages, what have you, or if you're like, oh hey, check out this song that I have on my fucking BlackBerry, or this or that, like, that's using more battery power, and it's going to die a hell of a lot faster than just sitting in standby with the screen off. So
yeah, that one's tough. Like I've worked in tech support before for cell phones, so what you're saying makes total sense. And even I've had cell phones before in shitty areas too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, malfunctioning technology is an interesting one. Lots of variables with that,
but yeah, to a severe degree where it's not explainable, no, definitely not something I've had to deal with.
So we'll move on to the last one,
Very last one.
Also my favorite one, and I'm glad they saved it for last.
So, Morgellons disease. Victims have painful tissue that poke from the skin and cause extreme agitation and agony.
Yes.
Now,
from what I've heard, you weren't familiar when we went over this last night. You've never heard that term before.
Yeah.
I've watched a video on YouTube. There's a woman that makes some pretty badass videos and stuff, and she mentioned this, and basically how she described it is like things, quote unquote, that are under your skin that cause like itching, etc. Usually when you get like those weird like little red bumps and stuff, and it constantly feels like there's things like kind of under your skin and whatnot. So you can kind of explain it as like, like meth heads, how they get all picky and stuff and start like scratching at their skin because the drugs is actually like basically like harvesting like under their skin and these scabs, and they'll pick them off and smoke them, but that's a different story. So it's kind of like that. I don't really know anything else outside of it other than that. Like, I kind of like the idea, and I was like, that's kind of fucking weird. But Chris just pulled up an article, so tell us.
So Wikipedia here says Morgellons, also called Morgellons disease or Morgellons syndrome, is a condition in which people have the delusional belief that they are infested with disease-causing agents described as things like insects, parasites, hairs, or fibers, while in reality no such things are present or are present only through benign causes, such as a piece of thread falling onto the skin. So I would kind of think of it too like, if you watch some of those like, there's a very specific video on YouTube. It's like an extreme lice infestation, where like if you watch that video, you're just gonna feel like your fucking head's itchy.
Oh yeah,
like you're just gonna be like,
or if you find like a bug on you, like a little spider, and then you like kill it or throw it outside.
Yeah, and then for the next 20 minutes, you just keep feeling like you keep
or
feeling
if you're like I get that all the time. I'll lay in bed and I'll just think that I'm like my leg's itchy and just something bit me, and I'm just like paranoid and shit till I basically fall asleep. But I mean, I've had that before. But yeah. So read go back to that article actually. Read that in the second paragraph there.
So people with the condition may exhibit a range of cutaneous symptoms such as crawling, biting, and stinging sensations, unusual fibers in the skin, and persistent skin lesions, example rashes or sores. These symptoms have been identified by a range of medical experts, including dermatologists, entomologists, and psychiatrists, as consistent with delusional parasitosis. Some cases of self-diagnosed Morgellons have been more accurately diagnosed as known skin disorders. So a known skin disorder would be like, you just have, like, say, for example, those people that are allergic to water.
Yeah.
So, like, they wash their hands, and then all of a sudden, like, they'll break out with a rash. Or it could be something as simple as, like, your feet get itchy after wearing socks for a whole day. So you there's nothing wrong with your leg, but your leg's gonna be itchy as fuck just because
diet. Do you change your bed sheets often? Fucking other things. So that one's interesting because I don't know.
But the way that this one says, so like this article here, but the victims have painful tissues that poke from the skin and cause extreme agitation and agony. I mean, like, I have a fucking mole or something on my back that, like, if I scratch it or, like, rub it the wrong way, like, that'll be agitating.
Painful,
agonizing.
Even like skin tags and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah.
Like skin tags don't hurt unless you try and like rip them off or whatever.
Never had that problem.
Yeah. I've had skin tags before. I just rip them off because I don't give a fuck.
Some Don Vito skin tags.
Oh god, ew. But yeah.
Rest in peace, you pervert. So yeah, I don't know. I think for the most part, though, we don't appear to be mind controlled.
Yes, but we'll read
based off of these.
the last.
But yeah, in conclusion, CJ Keller, most victims of mind control don't know that they're being targeted, and symptoms may be set in gradually as the mind control techniques take effect. Victims' personalities and attitude will change, family and friends will have cause to be worried, and a few will contemplate the potential of mind control as victims degenerate and react to their mind's invasion. Typically, mind control techniques are tagged schizophrenia or mental illness, and the victim is not believed, while the perpetrators in government echelons and military surveillance complex are free to do it again. So, I don't know. Let us know what you think. We don't think we're being mind controlled.
Are you?
Do you think we're being mind controlled? Are you being mind controlled? What's going on here?
I don't know.
So,
it's interesting. It's interesting.
So we'll leave it
Maybe
up.
we slowly are.
Maybe we are.
I mean, we've agreed with some of these, or at least kind of like half-ass agreed to some, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of them where it's just like,
Maybe
yeah.
we're part of the population that's slowly being mind controlled.
Maybe.
Then again, if you even look at people that have committed crimes and have claimed to be under mind control,
Never know.
kind of lot of them.
So at this point, we'll leave it up to you. Let us know in the comments what you think. There'll be a link to the article that we followed here. Other than that, have yourself a wonderful evening, day, weekend. Take her easy.